Hi there, I'm Trucker Ray, and before we get to our presentation, I wanted to share with you a new way to contact me. That's right, I finally got a post office box. A lot of you have been sending emails and leaving comments on my YouTube channel, and that is awesome, but I know some of you still like snail mail. So, if you have something you'd like to send, whether it's a card, or you want to buy me a cup of coffee, or whatever it might be, this is where you send it. P.O. Box 12306, Langley RPO, which stands for Royal Post Office, Logan Creek, British Columbia, Canada, V2Y0Y7. That's P.O. Box 12306, Langley RPO, Logan Creek, BC, Canada, V2Y0Y7. Now, if you're ready, let's get to our presentation. Well, good morning everyone. I am Trucker Ray. Welcome to my channel. If you're visiting for the very first time, I am a Christian truck driver that drives the highways and byways of North America. And I love to share my faith, my Christian faith. Not ashamed of that. And we've been doing this for a while, since 2012. So we've got a lot of videos on the channel if you're here visiting for the first time and you're looking for something that shares the reality of trucking. If that's the case, you found it right here. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Pleasure to have you along for the ride. Received a lot of positive feedback from our recent podcast, our episode 5. Glad to see you guys are enjoying that. Yeah, it just gives me an opportunity to get behind the microphone, and I can literally do that podcast wearing my shorts and a t-shirt and nobody would care because you can't see you, right? Because you can't see me. So why not? Vitamins. I have not taken some of these for a while, because I was going through a bit of a rough episode. And when you're in a depression, you don't really want to do a whole lot for yourself. You don't want to take your vitamins. You don't want to do anything really for yourself. And I was going through a bit of a depressing time there for a while, and a lot of it was self-induced. I could have done a lot about it. I mean, some of it was self-induced. So, anyway, the problem with some of these, I gotta make sure there's no sugar in any of these, but, so I have, what do I have in here? I have turmeric. I take 500 milligrams of that a day. Really helps with inflammation. It helps with arthritis. I don't have arthritis, but I have tendinitis. You get the little tinglies in your fingers and that. I have that, so that helps with that. So I'm going to start taking that again. Calcium, magnesium, zinc. I know I have D3 in here, so I'm going to take all of these today. Omega, wild salmon and fish oil. This one's huge. Omega-3. It's always good. Helps your noggin. Iron. I take that as well. So I have, and yeah, that's all I got right now. So I have turmeric, zinc, D3, iron, calcium, magnesium, omega-3. Yeah, I look like a drugstore here with all this stuff on my dash. But yeah, to me it's just important to have all of this. I also do this. You can get this at Costco. Actually, what I used to do is I used to buy this, not this brand, but I used to buy my apple cider vinegar. This is what this is, over at Walmart, and you could get a decent container of that for like 10 bucks. But this is like $7, and it's just ridiculous amount in here. There's like almost 2 liters. And this is made with the mother. I don't know what the mother is. Maybe somebody can explain that to me. I've got the mother load. So I take a whole glass of this every day. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine that? You wouldn't have a stomach left. I know some of you went, what? You just can't wait to get on there and write a comment. What are you doing? You're gonna kill yourself. No, I take 1 to 2 tablespoons of this a day. Actually, what I do, where's my empty bottle here? Well, this is an empty bottle. It will be. Because I drink so much water, which is another good thing, you'll see, if you will be able to, these bottles have these little notches. Ding, 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 right? What I do is I fill mine up to the very first one. That is roughly, hold on. This is not a very good example because I used to use the other bottles from Nestle's, but this is Kirkland brand. So theirs is a little bit different, but there is a little notch under here. The first notch, that's what I put it up to. That's about 2 tablespoons. So I top that up. And what I used to do, which is ridiculous, I used to fill up the whole bottle with water and just sip it down during the day. I'm like, why am I torturing myself? It's not the most enjoyable stuff to drink. So what I do is I top it up to about up to this mark, and I get another bottle of cold water, and then I just shoot it down and chase it down with water. Boom, it's done. And it's fine. So I'll show you here. I'll give you an example. If I can do this without spilling it on myself. You certainly don't want to be spilling this stuff on you in your truck. Everything will smell sour. It's just as bad if you dump Def inside of your truck. So right up to that mark. Yeah, it's a little bit higher than it should be. But that's what I do. And some of you may not know the medicinal value of apple cider vinegar. It's good for everything. Your liver, your organs, your digestive system, your blood pressure. It's good for everything. It's amazing stuff. So there you go. That's how much I have. And then I take a bottle of cold water out of my cooler. And I just take this and shoot it down. It's good. If any of you out there take apple cider vinegar, you want to try something that's really cool. I discovered this last year. Make yourself a fresh cup of coffee or get a fresh cup of coffee. Don't take any of the coffee yet. Shoot down your apple cider vinegar. Chase it down with a little bit of water, and then have a sip of your coffee. That'll be the best cup of coffee you've ever had. Because once you drink something this sour, it really brings out the flavor in the coffee in your mouth when you drink it. So again, I can't reuse this bottle because, yeah, you don't want to reuse the bottle. And the bottle that you chased it down with, now you have apple cider vinegar on your lips. You have to finish this right now while you're doing it, or every time you take a sip out of this bottle later, it's going to taste like apple cider vinegar. So I'll use this for my vitamins. All right, enough of that. What am I doing right now? Currently, right now, I'm in Nogales. I made it here Friday. It's Monday today. and we're delivering a load to Mexico, but we're over here at the inspection facility here in Nogales. And what they do is they inspect our load, and then we get our paperwork, however long that'll take. Sometimes it takes all day, sometimes it'll take more than one day. This place is terrible. I don't get why we have to keep coming to this place. There's other places we can go to where they inspect it within 2 hours. I just don't know why we have to come here. So they take care of our inspection, we get our paperwork, and we head over to the border. And apparently last week it was a nightmare getting back and forth across the border, so we may be in for that again. I don't know, but that's kind of what's going on right now. And because it is getting close to watermelon season, there's a good chance I'll be bringing some of those back, and maybe I'll be heading to Big Chewy or Del Campo. I don't know where I'm going to be. Is it Del Campo? Yeah, I really don't know what I'm going to be bringing back yet, but got to get this load delivered, and there's a very good probability that I may not even get across the border today. That's how ridiculous this place is. I don't know why it takes so long for them to get the paperwork cleared. I mean, you can get in there, they'll probably call me in an hour and get me in a door, and then I'll park again, and I'll be sitting here the rest of the day, and maybe even into tomorrow. Thankfully, there's an IHOP just down the road, which is 24 hours, so if you need to use the bathroom or you want to get some breakfast or whatever, if you don't have food in your truck, you can go to the IHOP. Again, they're 24 hours, which is nice. So I'm going to swig down the rest of my medication, good medication, my vitamins, and yeah, we'll wait for that phone call. Well, friends, I got my paperwork. I'm all finished here. I'm actually very surprised that I even received my paperwork as early as I did. Normally it takes a lot longer than this. So I'm very grateful for that. Oh, getting out of here is going to be fun. The way they drive down here in Nogales, the locals, they drive like they own the streets. They have no regard for any of the trucks or each other, really. It's crazy. You got to be very careful when you come down here. It's not hard to get into an accident. So I am on my way down to the Mexican border, and apparently things are a little bit different down there. They've got some kind of construction work going on, and I was talking to one of our drivers, and he actually missed. There's a booth that you stop in to give the paperwork to. They scan it, they let you go through, they scan it again. But the very first booth no longer is in the same place. Apparently it's been moved because of construction, and I guess he didn't see it because it's such a tiny little small booth. And he said it's the size of an outhouse. If you're not watching for it, you'll miss it. He had to go all the way down and come all the way back up again. It was just, he said, whatever you do, don't miss it. So I'll keep an eye out for that. I certainly don't want to have to come all the way back again and recircle, come back, leave the US and come back in and go all the way back down again. Get over to this lane as fast as I can here before I get cut off. So hopefully it'll be all right. I was looking at the Google to see how busy the traffic is over there, and looks pretty red. The incoming, at least coming back to the US. I don't know what that's going to be like for me. So maybe it's a good thing I'm getting out of this area here as fast as I am, because yeah, it may take a little bit longer to get back. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been through here. I don't think there's anything changed regarding this. I'm assuming this says trucks here. I'm going to go through here anyway. I don't know why those guys are going that way. I think I'd rather go where it tells you to go. Unless they're empty. Yeah, they're empty. That's why they went that way. I don't know if I got to stop here or not. I can't tell if anybody's in here. There is nobody in there. Okay, and we will talk to nobody there. Normally, sometimes there's somebody in that booth. And you know the funny thing about crossing into Mexico? Same thing in Yuma. Or should I say San Luis, when you cross over into San Luis, Rio, Colorado. There's multiple booths, but you never know who's in a booth. And a lot of the time the windows are tinted, so you don't know if someone's in there. So you can sit there for 10 minutes and realize there's nobody in that booth. Or you go by a booth that you think no one's in there and someone's in there. So, yeah. It's very, very confusing here. Can be very confusing through here. I like that. I like it how they say trucks left lane and they got pylons in the left lane. Yeah. What does that mean, huh? Some might say, well, is that the border crossing? Are you officially in Mexico? Well, we will be in a minute here. But that's not the official border crossing. The official border crossing is further up. They make sure you're way into their territory in case you are a bad boy, they got you. Yeah. It's so funny how they tell you truck's left lane and they got someone working in the left lane. As you can see on the left hand side here, there's lots of people trying to get into the US. We'll see how bad the lineup is of trucks. And they got the vendors walking up and down in between vehicles selling stuff. You know, the funny thing is I never seem to have any money with me when I come through here. And there's one thing that I want to get from one of these vendors. It's almost like a wallet, but it hangs around your neck and you can put your ID and everything in there. And there's Mexican ID that we get. It's a visa that we can cross with, and we're always supposed to have it on display. A lot of the time I just have it sitting in my binder. If they want it, I pull it out, but yeah. So okay, the lineup's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. Okay, well maybe today's a nice slow day. Wouldn't that be nice? What I mean by slow is, yeah, not a lot going on. So, but it is Monday. This is kind of really bizarre. I thought it would be busier than this on a Monday. Oh well, we'll see what happens here. So what we do is we'll make our way up the hill until we get to the toll booth. Speaking of, I better get my pesos out. It's 200 pesos to cross this border crossing. And the one in San Luis is 150 pesos. I've got my 200 pesos. It's very similar to Canadian money. The value is very similar too. Yeah. And these roads are really, really bad here. And there is not a lineup here, which is good, because when you're between these two barricades, you're kind of hooped. I normally I don't like coming up through this lane, simply because if someone breaks down, what do? You can't get out. You're better to go the other way and then scoot in. Once you get through the toll booth up here on the outside, you can just jump into the truck lane real quick in between the barriers. Time is at 11:02.
Buenos dias. Gracias.
All right, so I got to keep an eye out for this little booth. This new construction they got going. I mean, if they're actually rebuilding this area, that's going to be a plus, because it really needs it. These roads are terrible through here. So all the trucks are going in the same direction, so there's no reason for me to mess this one up. It's a very interesting culture down here for the trucking industry. Trucks are in every condition you can possibly think of. There's no regard for the speed limit. You rarely see a policeman anywhere. Ooh. They filled these little holes here. That's a lot better. Wow, look at that. They just paved right over the curb. They put the asphalt right over the curb. Talking about, let's just get it done quick and go for burritos. It's actually kind of funny. Yeah. Maybe they leave the road like this on purpose so people don't drive like crazy down here, but that doesn't stop a lot of the Mexican trucks. They still drive down here like their tail is on fire. Alright. I gotta pay attention to where this little booth is. Apparently it's different. We used to be able to turn right here. Now, let me go down this little dirt road. Apparently there's a booth here somewhere. Oh, they're rebuilding all of that. Oh, wow. Where is this booth? I don't see a booth anywhere here. Oh, there it is down there. You know what? They are, oh yeah, there's the new booths they're making right there. You see a lot of this down in Yuma too. They're doing a whole lot of construction down there too. I guess someone, they found funds or something like that, where they're doing all these renovations to their border crossing. So, yeah. Some of you might be saying, is it okay for you to be recording going through here? Well, I didn't see any signs that says no cameras. I wouldn't take a camera in the inspection facility, or if I had to go in and talk to customs. When I'm crossing back into the US, that's different. I will turn the cameras off there. These guys never even check your passports. They don't check anything here. All they want is the paper. Can I see your papers? That's all they seem to care about, is your papers. And you certainly don't want to blow this booth like one of our other drivers did. And yeah, that didn't work out very well in his favor. Looks like they got a lot of construction going on over here. Did they build a new instruction bay there? Construction bay? Did I say instruction? Construction bay. Alright, let's see if they're going to make me do an inspection or if they're going to let me go. Buenos dias. I don't think there's any kind of inspections going on. Too much construction. flies around here are terrible. No, I don't think there'll be any kind of inspection.
You have an inspection.
Sorry?
You have an inspection.
Where? I don't know where you go. Oh, maybe at the end? I got to do an inspection. Isn't that ironic? At the end?
Yes.
Okay. Do I need the paperwork?
No, yo me quedo con él. Ahorita se lo llevo.
Okay, so just back in?
Yes.
Okay, because I've never done that before. Do they come out or do I got to go in?
Yo voy.
Okay.
I'm coming.
Okay. Holy smoke, is she ever pretty. Woo-wee. First time I've ever had to do inspection. I didn't think there was any because all these bays here are being used, but I guess there's an inspection bay at the very, very end. I don't know what they got to look at. I guess they got to break all the seals. Oh, great. Now I got a guy that's going to pass me on the right here. Where are you going there, buddy? What are you doing? Okay, then I'm just going to do this. What do they need to look at? Too good to be true. I was wondering why I got out of that place over there so quickly. It's too good to be true. You get out of that place where they inspect you over there too quickly. That's because they need to inspect you here.
It's a lonely, crazy, loca, México.
You know, that's the thing I like about the Hispanic people. They have such a good sense of humor. They really do. Good. Just gonna strap these back on. Oh, don't tell me it's going to do this to me again. Oh, there we go. Last time I couldn't get that thing to come out. Come on, get in there. Well, I guess everything's okay. I guess they inspect it on the American side, and if they choose to, they randomly inspect it on the Mexican side. So the inspection on the American side is strictly for US only, which is kind of weird because it was already inspected before it even went onto my truck. So this is like 3 inspections for this product. Kind of silly.
We're good. And as soon as I pull out, I think this might be Buck here, I'm not sure. Guy jumps in front of me. I get over the border first and I'm gonna have to he's gonna get unloaded before me. That's actually funny.
Gracias.
Let's go. Make our way down to where we are delivering. Oh, there's another Key West coming the other way. That's Ron. That is Ron. He's the only guy in the fleet with a Volvo. Hey, Ron. Oh, there's a bit of a lineup here, though, coming the other way. Yeah. As you can see, people park anywhere they want. Park on the right, park on the left. There's even some places where they'll just park right in the middle of the road. They don't care. I'm assuming that Ron got inspected at one of the places that we normally get inspected at. That takes 10 minutes and you're in and you're out of there. And that's probably where he got inspected. Look at the lineup of cars here and trucks. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a process getting out of here. Oh well, that's all part of the game. That's why we get paid the big bucks, I guess. You don't even use your signal half the time around here. Nobody ever listens. They don't use them. They don't pay attention to them. I'll just stay in this lane. All right, just about at the American border. Our delivery went well. And a little bit of a lineup here, which is kind of normal whenever you're making your way back. Usually it takes about an hour, maybe a little bit longer sometimes to get across. And then once you get up to the American side there, sometimes they make you go into an X-ray, and that X-ray can take 45 minutes to go through because they have such a long line up there. Yeah, it's a bit of a process. You definitely need some patience. But you know, when the weather is as beautiful as it is out here, just not a lot you can do. Just relax. Relax. Listen to some music if you got it. Yeah, and as you can see, this truck in front here, this Key West truck, that we're just a couple more of our trucks in this lineup here. So when you come up to the border here, you got to open up the one door like that so they can see that you're empty and that you don't have anybody in there. Once you pull up to the American booths, there's a guy that's walking around there, and he'll walk by and he'll look inside just to make sure no one's grabbed a ride with you. Well, we made it out of customs, and now I just received my marching orders. Picking up a place I've been to before here called L&M. Picking up a load of tomatoes. That's going to Langley or Surrey or wherever, which is kind of nice. I didn't have to go very far to get my load, so I don't know if that's going to be... Oh, L&M, it's right there. You can see it straight ahead. My GPS wants me to go straight. Well, let's go that way and we'll see what happens, but I got a feeling it's up the hill here. Maybe it is down here. Maybe they got two different places. Oh, there it is, L&M. This is the right place. Because U.S. Border Patrol is right there. Okay, I've been here before. I have, indeed. There's nobody manning this booth. It's just kind of funny. All right. So I guess I'll make my way around. I had not been to this place in a long time. Very long time. I'm wondering, wouldn't that be amazing if I just show up and get loaded that quickly? That would be incredible.
So a trailer load of tomatoes.
Want the last two sideways?
Ah, it depends. How heavy is it?
20, 22, or 300 pounds each.
So what's the total weight?
Probably like 44.
Really? That's gonna be too heavy.
If it's like, if your truck weighs like 35, you're gonna be okay.
I got a half a tank of fuel too. Well, you might as well do the last two sideways. We can still move the trailer if we need to, but
If you're heavy, I mean, we can take a pallet off.
Yeah.
But we just need to take.
yeah. That pilot doesn't have a scale, do they?
No, this one no.
I have to go to.
We have a scale up here, like 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
Most of them go there.
Is that a cat scale?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I got to do the cat scale, but that's okay. It's not that far.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great. That's going to be too heavy. If he says 44, yeah, it's too heavy. That is too heavy. That's probably the last one, I'm assuming. It's good. Yeah, that's gonna be heavy. If it's not overweight, I'll be very surprised. Get in there. There you go.
Hopefully these guys are open for a little while. They can't seem to come up with the right weight. They told me we're looking at 44,000 pounds. Remember, you heard that. The funny part is the bill of lading says 40,000. Just a little bit of a difference in estimation here. Only 4,000 pound difference. I wonder what it could be. I wonder what's accurate. But if it's 40,000 pounds, we're good. If it's 44,000 pounds, we're too heavy. And we're gonna have to come back and they're gonna have to take off one. Jeez. All right, so I gotta head to the Loves and get myself weighed because there isn't any other scales around here. There might be another scale up here, but I want a certified scale. He said there is another scale up here I could go to, but it's not a certified scale. So I don't want to waste my time with that. We need to make sure the weights are good. So we'll find out. I mean, I'm at a half a tank of fuel, like I was saying. I don't want to drive all the way back on a half a tank, but if I have to, I will. Well, the weights were okay. I was about a tiny bit heavy, but we have an exemption for the APU, so I should be all right. But I'm on a half a tank of fuel, so that means I got to go all the way back to Langley on a half a tank of fuel if I want to do it legally. Don't have a choice. You can't really go back when you're a little bit heavy. I mean, what are they supposed to take off? 10 boxes. It's not worth it. So yeah, I'll just watch my fuel. Make sure I'm sitting at a half a tank the whole way pretty well. I should be all right. I should be good. And yeah, this load here, may have to deliver it or maybe not. I don't know. If I do have to deliver it, it may be a late load or a late delivery. I'm not sure yet. Or I may be bringing it to the yard. Not entirely sure yet. Yeah. This is a Border Patrol checkpoint. If you have not seen what these are, all these southern states have these. California, I think, has, I wonder if California does have it. Arizona has it, New Mexico, as well as Texas. As you're leaving the area, yeah, they have these Border Patrol checkpoints where they just, sometimes they'll have dogs sniffing the vehicles just to catch people. You know what I don't understand? If the borders are so wide open everywhere like they say they are, why even have these checkpoints? I don't get it. What would be the point of this? So obviously this is to do with, a lot of this has to do with smuggling drugs, probably. That probably has these checkpoints have a lot to do with this, I'm sure. Because the dogs, they run around the vehicles, they're not checking for people, they're checking for drugs, checking for weapons. But they don't bother the trucks when we come through here. They wave us through, because they do get to know who the trucks are. And there's enough Key West trucks that come through here. When they see us, they know those guys are from Canada. Just let them go. They got 3 lanes going here. A very busy day today. Very busy day. They don't got the dogs out. Thank you. Yeah, they got quite a staff over here, Border Patrol agents here. And you know, they got to sit in this heat. Right now it's 30 out here, 30 Celsius. It's pretty warm. And they're in all that gear. Body gear and bulletproof vests and all that other stuff. Oh man, must be very, very hard, tough on those guys to have to wear all that. Yeah, they're probably used to it, but I don't know, still must be tough. All right, well, excuse me. I got 9 hours, roughly 9 hours left on my clock today. That's okay, because I don't plan on driving past midnight anyway. It's 3:46 or so right now. So, I'm not sure. I haven't figured out where I'm going to end up, but yeah. Make our way south, or north, dyslexia, smack. Let's make our way north!
This is Trucker's Corner with Trucker Glenn.
Hey everyone, it is Trucker Ray with Trucker Glenn, and we are here at your, actually you guys moved in here not that long ago.
Yeah, we moved in November.
Big change from the other place you're in.
Big change.
Yeah, you've got some nice scenery here. It's very green.
It's a little over 5 acres of farmland, and we have chickens and cows in the next field, and
Rooster.
Got
a rooster waking you up?
Got a rooster waking us up. And every once in a while, when the wind changes directions, you know that you're in farm country.
Yeah, we got a whiff of that earlier.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, it is actually very, very nice country. Welcome everyone to another edition of Trucker's Corner. We're live together.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah, I kind of like this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a nice free meal out of this too, so this is worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What are we going to talk about today, sir?
I would like to talk about trailers. A lot of times they're the most overlooked, especially when you're doing switches, where you're switching trailers, or you pick a loaded trailer up either from your yard or from a customer. And sometimes the driver, especially if you're newer, doesn't think to check anything because the last guy did it.
Did he really though?
That's the thing. 9 times out of 10, I picked a trailer up with a flat tire, and I look at my watch, and it's like 4:45. So you know the guy wanted to get home.
Yeah.
So before you even start your trip, you're looking at changing a flat tire.
Yeah.
Or suspension is another thing. How many drivers actually look at the suspension of their trailers?
What do they know even what to look for?
Yeah. Well, the more rusty they are. Remember, we worked for a company who had. I'm surprised the trailers didn't get pulled in.
They were infamous for that.
Oh, terrible. And, you see the rust marks coming down from the studs on the wheels. And
that's another warning sign.
Yeah, that's a sign that your wheels may be loose.
Yeah.
I picked up a trailer one time that was broken in the middle. It had a big crack on the frame. These 53-footers, of course, the roof, the floor, the sidewalls, the front and back, they're all part of the frame now because there are no more frame rails in these trailers. And you get a 6-inch crack on the side rail, and you're in big trouble, because if you hit one of these bumps in the road like that where the load is really pushing down on your trailer, that thing can snap right in two.
I'm surprised they even stay together.
Yeah, when they first bought the 53-foot trailers out, I was a little skeptical of them because...
What was the originals, 48?
We had actually 38-foot and 40-foot.
Oh, wow.
And then we went to 42-foot.
Okay.
And you were really trucking with a 42-foot.
And now Walmart came out with these ones that are even longer.
50, I think they're 58s now, aren't they?
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah. And everything has to work together in order for these things to...
Yeah.
So if you get a forklift that comes into your trailer and he puts his boom up too high, and maybe he cracks across a roof, what do they call those things? Trusses across the top of the trailer, that could compromise your trailer.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things to look for when you're doing your walkabout. Tires. How many guys just bing, 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 yeah, good enough. They don't even bother looking at them.
Yeah.
And, you could have a flat spot on one of your tires from them being skidded down the road, and you don't see it, because I used to like to move my trailer ahead or back a couple of feet so I could, check the tires properly. And brakes. I know you and I had a conversation about setting brakes up.
Yeah.
I still set my brakes up,
I don't think we can legally even touch them.
I don't think we can either.
That's why they make the automatic slack adjusters, just do the 6-pack. But how many guys even know what a 6-pack is?
And the thing is, if they're not serviced properly, they don't work properly.
Yeah.
So if you don't see a lot of grease on your slack adjusters, then you know you got a problem.
Yeah.
Lights is another thing. How many times have you gone through or followed a truck going down the road and he's got one tail light working?
Or the others are all flashing.
Yeah. And it's, it's...
One thing I find that you see a lot of, you see a little bit of leakage where the hubs are.
I've had that where, on the hubs, you've got several different kind of hubs. I brought a brand new set of trailers I was going to Edmonton, and I got to Calgary, and I always on a new trailer, even when I'm doing my checks, I'll put my hand on the hub. I got about this far away, and you could feel the heat coming off this thing. So I pulled into the tire shop, and I said, "Can you check these hubs?" And he said, "How old is the trailer?" I said, "It's brand new." He said, "No, they're just breaking in. They'll get hot like that."
Really?
I couldn't believe it. I thought I was going to seize a bearing up, and they would be... He said, "It's just the type of hub they are, that they have to heat up really hot before the bearings will set in." But the little plugs that are on the end, they're plastic. Well, the more heat you have, the more brittle plastic becomes, and they'll get so hard that they'll crack and they'll start leaking.
What about when you're driving whatever and you stop at a truck stop and you look at your rims and you see little splash marks inside the rim? What does that tell you?
That's usually that end little piece, that little plug.
seal?
That's the plug that's on the end. 9 times out of 10.
I've had that happen to me a few times, and that makes you nervous when you see that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to run out of fluid in your hub.
Well, you can, if you pull that plug out, you can. I usually put my finger in about this far, and if you can touch fluid, you're really good.
Okay.
But a lot of times if they run out of fluid, of course they're gonna. I had a trailer. They just did a brake job on it, and of course, you know how when they're setting the nut for the bearings, they'll spin their tire, right? So they did all that, and I had the trailer out for a couple trips. I said, boy, oh boy, those hubs are really, they stink. They're like they're burning. Just take the trailer. It's been looked at. It's been good. Our mechanics know how to. I said, okay. Well, I was on the Yellowhead. I can't even remember. I think I was just got into Jasper. And I had a coffee at Hinton. Did all my,
Which is in Alberta.
Everything is fine. Got in and driving down the road, and it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I look out and I thought, man, that's a bright signal light I got. And I looked and my signal light wasn't on. It was a flame shooting out from the trailer about this far, and then it would. So I thought, well, I obviously got a problem here.
Just a little one.
So I pulled over, and as soon as I stopped, that's when the fire broke out.
Wow.
And I had a load of gyprock on. I'll never forget it. And I got the tractor out from underneath the front trailer, but the trailer where they join up together, it sagged down that. The back trailer, it was aluminum trailer, and it basically burnt to nothing. So that was a lesson learned. Like from then on, if I got hubs that were smelling like that, I would insist on them.
So would you recommend that it's a good idea whenever we stop, whether it's fuel or a 30-minute break or whatever it might be, just do a walk around and just not only visualize but smell what's going on?
Smell and touch.
In touch. I got a little heat gun. It actually detects the heat on the rim. I point them at the rims, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah, that's new and improved since I was doing it. But as you're, hitting your tires, just put your hand on the hub, and it will be warm.
Yeah.
But that's a major thing. I've seen a lot of axles seize right up. And of course, if you got a big heavy load like gyprock, of course it'll catch fire eventually.
Well, another thing too, we had a driver climbing the hill into Ely, going northbound, and that little hill area through Ely in Nevada. And because she had a heavy load and she was dragging that thing up the hill, she didn't realize that one of her brakes were seized. And here she is dragging this thing up, thinking this trailer is really heavy, but didn't think anything of it because she's going up a hill.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, and especially a lot of the hubs and the different components of the wheel are made out of aluminum. Yeah, and once that stuff starts to burn, you can't put it out. It's gone.
Oh, didn't they back in the day used to make like the cross members? Were they like wood at one time? Or have they always been the steel?
They've always been steel as far as I know, yeah. They had a lot more oak in the trailers. Now they don't use oak. I don't know what they use, but for the new 53s and the 56 and 58 foot trailers, they use solid oak because, again, that adds more strength to the trailer.
Okay.
But
what would you say to look for when someone's looking at their cross members? How many drivers actually look under and look at the cross members? Probably very, very, very few.
You look for, if they're aluminum, of course you wouldn't find rust. If you always check for cracks. That's the biggest thing. Usually the oak floors won't cause them to crack because they're pretty solid. But in the old days, we would always check for cracks because they're steel and they'd start rusting after a while, with the salt roads and everything. Yeah. But yeah, it's. I would say to do a proper trailer check, you're probably looking at a half an hour to do.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it properly, right? And then, of course, you check to see if the rubbers on your glad hands need to be changed for leakage, and your airlines. You know, there's a lot of. I brought a brand new trailer over a scale. A matter of fact, at Hope, and the guy pulled me in and he said, "I'm going to just give it a level 1." And I said, "Well, it's brand new." He said, "You'd be surprised." So he went under the trailer, checked it all out, and there's where the airlines were running down the center of the trailer. They went through the cross members, and the line was lying right on the cross member,
Right.
which means, you know, with the wind and the vibration, sooner or later it was gonna leak, which could cause a lot of problems down the road, right?
Yeah.
And I guess it would get so bad you could actually blow an airline, but because they're only made of cheap plastic nowadays. But there's a lot of stuff, like, for instance, with your tandems one time that
The pins just, because I went over a bump, the pins let loose and it literally jumped right off the track, and the bogies went right to the back. And if it wasn't for that unit that the long combination ones have, they have that extra solid bumper on the back, or that mechanism, those bogies would have been down the road behind me.
Yeah. We had a guy one time, this is years and years ago, and how we used to check our fifth wheel, see if it was locked. You've probably done it, where you pull a spike down for the trailer.
Yeah, sure.
Well, this guy decided, he was at Brunette and the freeway in New Westminster.
Yeah, in BC.
And he thought, oh, I forgot to check my pin. So he grabbed the spike and pulled it down, and the wheels went right out from underneath the trailer.
Oh my gosh.
Like, took the ICC bumper off and everything. And
Wow.
of course the trailer landed on the ground. And
oh, what a nightmare.
what a nightmare. I've never heard of that happening before, but if I wouldn't have been there to see it, I wouldn't have believed it. So there's a lot of things like you...
Well, what about the landing gear? I'm sure this has happened to you. You let the landing gear down. You're on one side of the trailer. You see the leg go down. We're good to go. Go inside the truck, pull your pin, pull out, and you realize that only one of the legs went down, and the other one didn't. And I've had that happen to me before. Thankfully, I looked, and that is a thing that you should be looking at.
There's just a little crossbar that goes across to connect both of them together. A little gear. And I've seen where the bolts have rusted right off.
One's only turning.
One's only turning,
Yeah.
So you got to get over there by hand and start. I used a ratchet one time with or a pair of vice grips you can use too. But yeah, that's one thing to learn. Another thing is I dropped a trailer, and I don't know what happened to the inside mechanism, but it dropped right to the ground.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you mean the landing gear just gave up?
Landing gear collapsed on it.
Wow.
Yeah, so again, that comes with age. You know, there's I don't think too many of the over-the-road companies now are using really old trailers, other than the one that we used to.
Except the ones in Mexico that come over the border that we see. I don't even know how they're even roadworthy. Yeah. Because when they come into Arizona from Mexico, they go through the DOT scale, which is right there, but they still get across. Like, I'm assuming does the Arizona DOT have any authority to do anything about that?
Well, they should. You're going into their country.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. You know, the crazy stuff I see on those trailers, I'm like...
We used to pick up trailers at near the Tijuana border. And I think it was in the summertime anyways. And I went into the little dispatch office. He was just in charge of all the trailers that had been picked up and dropped off. And he said, sign here, your trailer is RC 765. And I said, okay. And he handed me a brown bag. And I thought he was giving me a hamburger or something. Like, I'm thinking, well, this is really cool.
These guys are really nice.
I said, what's that? And he said, lights. I said, lights? He said, yeah, you're going to have to replace all the lights on your trailer. I guess when they go across to the Mexican side, the Mexicans steal all the lights off the trailer. And if they can, they'll steal the tires and wheels off them and just leave them there.
Wow.
But the lights for sure. He said every trailer that comes back doesn't have a light on them.
That's strange. Yeah. Oh, I mean, if you drop the trailer and they take it over?
They take it over.
Yeah,
and then when it comes back, they just drop it at the yard. They don't say nothing to nobody, and there's no lights on the trailer. So, because the Mexicans like all these fancy LED lights.
Oh, do they ever? Oh man, you know, a lot of them I see parked at the truck stops on the American side. They have like the inside of their cab looks like a church. They have lit up crosses and the Mary and the rosary lit up and everything. And on the front of their grill, they've got lights everywhere. It doesn't matter if they're crooked; they have them on the truck. So yeah, they really like their lights. Yeah.
So it's, I guess, to sum it all up, you really got to be you got to pay close attention to all. Because these new trailers don't have frame rails. There's so much, everything depends on the other.
What causes all that dog tracking that we see all the time? I see it every time, and I'm like, you can see right down the side of the trailer, you can see the logo. What is causing? What causes?
Well, that's just the way it could be that the slider is worn out.
Oh, the alignment's out that bad?
The alignment, it could be out that bad, because when you're twisting these trailers in and out of these places, you know, you can reach out and touch the side of your trailer, you got them kinked so bad. And that's really, especially on a Tridem, there's a lot of force. I always thought that they would, and all the Tridems have one axle you could lift up, so there wouldn't be so much stress on the alignment of the trailer. But quite often that's what causes it. And
I guess the only thing we really haven't touched on are the reefers. Just give that reefer, check the oil, open up the doors, look at the, just give a good visual. And all these things, all the reefers too, they all have a little thing on there that you can do a pre-trip now.
And don't always put your faith in the electronics of it either. I mean, that's a good indication, but you should physically look at your belts, check the oil, check the water, see if there's any leaks coming out of the engine, oil leaks, and you know, all your connections are good. The fuel line's good, and you got fuel in the trailer in your reefer tank. And you know, make sure like when it's running that everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Because by the time you get to the shipper, it's too late.
Exactly. And you want your reefer to be working before you leave your yard, and not have to tell your dispatcher or your boss, something's wrong with the reefer, it needs to be fixed. Well, you didn't check that before you left the yard. You're fired. Well, thanks, Glenn. That's more solid advice.
And welcome to my home. And
I can't wait for dinner.
Oh, it'll be good, I'm quite sure.
And if you guys want to send Trucker Glenn an email for a suggestion of a episode, send it to truckerglenn10@gmail.com. Truckerglenn with the number 10@gmail.com. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm just starting my day. I made it to Searchlight, Nevada last night. I was really surprised I even got a parking spot, because I got here like, I think at like 10:30 or maybe it was 11. It was late enough. Yeah, there was actually parking at the Terribles, which I'm really surprised. But yeah, we got a solid day of driving in yesterday, as far as I could go. I never like to drive past midnight. That's, to me, there's no point in it, because you say you shut down at 2 in the morning, and now you got to wait another whole 10 hours. Like, what are you really gaining by driving longer? You don't. Unless it's the final day and you want to get to where you're going and make an appointment. Yeah, that's different. But look at this beautiful weather out here. 27 Celsius. Gorgeous weather. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And yeah. My plan today is to get to Mountain Home, or even the Boise rest area, or the Bliss rest area. Maybe Mountain Home, I don't know. I'm gonna just give it everything I got, because I want to be able to one-shot it into Langley tomorrow. That's my plan. Yeah, that is the plan I have. You got to be really careful going through this area, Searchlight, because the cops are I've never seen an area so active with radar as I do in this town, in Searchlight.
You go through here too fast, you get nailed. You don't get away with it. You don't get away with it. So anyway, as you can see, like I said, it's going to be a blue sky day all day today. So I'm looking forward to this trip. Because I'm leaving at the time that I am, probably be in Vegas in about an hour. So I would assume it's going to be regular traffic flowing through, but at least we won't be fighting with rush hour.
Hey friends, due to the length of this week's video, the Bible break will be uploaded separately to the channel. Be sure to check it out because we'll be dipping into the book of Proverbs. We'll see you then. Well, good morning. Just finished printing out my manifest that I'm going to use to cross the border. I may be crossing tonight or early tomorrow morning. Depends. It all depends on when I get over to Washington State. If the load doesn't have to deliver till like 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, there's no point on rushing across the border tonight if I don't need to. And if it delivers at 3 in the morning, then I have no choice. I have to. But if it delivers at 3 in the morning,
I don't know who's going to deliver it but me, but I won't have the hours to do it. So I guess they're going to have to deliver it early in the morning. We'll find out though. Yeah, that'll give me about 9.5 hours to get to where I'm going today. Unfortunately, I'll be dealing with rush hour traffic in Seattle. But what I'm probably going to do, instead of going through Bellevue, which is always an absolute nightmare. Well, Bellevue's not the nightmare. Going through Bellevue, then jumping on the I-5 and crawling all the way to Bellingham, it's just not worth it. I'm going to probably take the North Bend turnoff and just go through the back area. If I'm going to be crawling, at least I want it to be scenic. So that's probably the way I'm going to go. So I got my manifest all printed out. It's really convenient to have a printer in your truck if you don't have one. I'd really suggest that you get one. A small one like this is called an Epson, just a small unit. It's actually the Epson Workforce WF110 if you really want to know which one it is. These aren't cheap now. When I first bought this one, it was a really good deal. Now they charge you through the nose to them because of the lithium batteries in them. So it's very convenient. The charge lasts quite a long time. You can probably print out at least a dozen pages before, or maybe 2 dozen before you have to recharge it. I've never really counted. So it's a nice little unit. Definitely saves you from having to stop at the truck stops hoping that the fax, or the fax, does anybody use that anymore? The emails or anything did not make it to the truck stop, where sometimes your dispatch, okay, I've sent your manifest over here, and you go there and it's not there. You're like, oh great. Now you're messing around trying to, and you always have to make sure you have cash on you. I know it's only $2 or $3 for a page, but you know what, that adds up. I have a whole package of paper I bought for $4. You don't want to be paying $2.50 for a page like that. That's just ridiculous. It takes barely any ink at all. So I mean, you buy your own printer, your ink cartridges, you really do save the company money, because I get reimbursed for it, for anything I buy for it, paper, whatever, and of course the ink and any other accessories. So it's just more convenient. I really recommend that if you're a new driver, think about getting yourself a printer. Well, I don't cross the border, so why would I need to print out a manifest? I'll give you an example. One individual in administration at the company yesterday sent me paperwork for my truck, my insurance, my cab insurance, my cab paper, which tells them everything where it's insured, plus my insurance was due on the truck April 30th. Which is kind of strange, because I don't remember getting the truck April 30th unless they're doing it in advance. I don't know what's going on with that deal. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, the trailer, that insurance was due on April 30th, so I had to, they sent me the paperwork, I printed it out, and I just put it in the trailer. And that makes it easier. So now when the trailer gets dropped at the yard, in case I forget, nobody's running around without the proper insurance papers. This is the time of the year where I'm going to be constantly printing out pages, because drivers ignore that thing. They don't check the paperwork in the trailers half the time. They just don't. And then you end up having to go inside and I need the paperwork. The last guy didn't check it because they don't do proper pre-trips. This is the way it happens, right? Part of your pre-trip is to check the paperwork in on your trailer to make sure it all is up to date, and a lot of drivers do not do this. I think any drivers out there, seasoned drivers, you know what I'm talking about. It's really, really ridiculous. That is something you really should check. You should absolutely check. You get pulled over into a scale, and I've said this a million times, they want to do a pre-trip on your truck and your trailer, and they say, get me the paperwork in your trailer. It's halfway through the day, you grab the paperwork, they see it's expired, they want, well, we're going to give you a fail on your trailer because your paperwork is expired. Oh, I didn't know. Okay, good. And now we're also going to give you a citation for not doing a proper pre-trip on your vehicle. Well, I did a proper pre-trip. No, you didn't. If you did, you would have looked in that little cubby there. You would have looked in the paperwork holder. So it will come against you. It takes 10 seconds to open up that thing and look at the paperwork. Trust me. Do it. Do it. It's important. It's part of the pre-trip. So I can't recommend it enough. Get yourself a printer. It's really handy, and you never know too. I mean, there may be cases where the paperwork that the receiver, maybe they forgot to give you a signed bill. If something went wrong and you need a signed bill, they can at least email that to you. Or if there's paperwork missing from the load that you picked up, and you're on your way to wherever you're going, you really need that paperwork. Instead of stopping at a truck stop, stop at a pull-up, boom, print it out, boom, you're done. So, yeah, it's really, really important. I think that's one thing. Just as important as a hammer in your truck is a printer. I really do. Some may not think it's important. Well, we'll just stop at a truck stop. I don't need to be spending money on that stuff. Or, I don't know how to use that. Hook it up to your Bluetooth. It's real simple. Okay. So I got a little bit of time left, and then I am going to do my pre-trip, and we're going to get out of here. And I am simply going to make my way down the 84, down the 82. Yeah, hopefully the weather's nice. So we're going to finalize things on this particular video with just a little montage of today's driving. Blessings to you all. Do subscribe if you're new, and do like the video if you liked it, and tell others about it. And be sure to check out our podcast. You'll see all the information in the description below. Blessings in the name of Yeshua. Take care, guys. Until next time, bye for now.